Hi guys, sorry about, well, I guess you won't even know because the way that YouTube works now, and I don't have any editing software. Oh, excuse me, I'm out of breath. The dogs were barking. I was filming this reading and then the dog started barking and I had to go downstairs to see what was going on because someone was knocking on the door. So what happened was I had to end that video, but with YouTube, it's they took away their video editing portion. So if I have two videos that I want to merge together, I can't do that anymore, and it's really frustrating. So for my client, I am not going to film everything I just filmed. What I'm going to do is just continue with where I left off. I was shuffling your cards. So I shuffled this deck, which is the Cosmic Reading cards. Okay. So I shuffled this deck and I was working on shuffling this deck. This is the Witch's Tarot that I'm going to be using for your reading. And then I'm also going to be working with the Psychic Tarot. And what I did in the other reading and the other video was explain the crystals, but I have a plethora of green crystals here on the table that I'm going to be using to, it basically helps to amplify the question that you were asking surrounding your career path, your life purpose, your career path of choice. And what I'm going to do is I want to focus on your life path and all of that, but I don't like to say, you should be doing this kind of work. This is the kind of job that you should be in. I don't like to read that way, and I'm not going to. I want to give you the tools to create your own reality from what you know from the cards. I guess that would be like the best way to describe it. So what I'm going to do is I will share with you. Okay, this card wants to come out. I will share with you your strengths that you have. And give you ideas, but it is solely up to you to decide what you want to do with your life, career-wise and whatnot, what your life purpose is. So I will be sharing with you what the cards have to say, and we will go from there. I also mentioned in the other video that I was feeling really strongly towards the Cosmic Reading cards. I sat and I was reading your email and that deck just came to mind. It was like I was being told this is the deck that I should use for you. So I'm going to work with that one, but I also wanted to pull out a tarot deck too because it is a tarot reading. So we're going to go with that. And anyone who's watching this is the one question tarot reading. So it is available in my shop. And basically, the 1 or 3 question tarot reading is open to any question that you want to ask, with the exception of love questions, because I have a separate love service for that. So you can ask anything you want, and these readings are done basically intuitively. I just pull and read. I don't use a certain spread or anything like that. So let's begin. I'm going to start pulling cards, putting them out on the table. The way that I lay them out is the way that they are meant to be read. I don't have a specific way that I like to read my cards or lay them out on the table. I just like to go with what feels right, what feels natural. So we shall see. We shall see what turns out, like what happens here. Well, actually, this came out in reversed. Beautiful. Okay. So I'm going to start with the card that flew out while I was shuffling. This is the Four of Cups. Four of Cups is a card of somebody who is procrastinating, somebody who is not sure, has a lot of doubt, has a lot of false starts. Maybe you get started on a project or a path and then you kind of veer off and you don't finish it. So maybe you have a lot of ideas or projects that you took interest in at one point and then you kind of left it. You don't complete a lot of the things that you start. And so I'm seeing that here with the Four of Cups, showing like this card representing who you are right now. You procrastinate, you have a lot of doubt in yourself, and you do have that habit of starting a path, but you don't complete it. I feel like it is very hard for you to accomplish a finality of something when you do accomplish it, because there are times where you have, when you do accomplish it, it's a big deal for you. But it's hard for you to completely get to that point. And I'm wondering if it's because you are not focused, because you're not doing what you really truly love. Okay. A lot of times when we are doing something that we love, when we are taking part in a path that we feel completely connected, we will surpass a lot. We will overcome a lot of things. And I feel like with you, it's like you have a lot of these ideas of things that you think sound like a good idea at that time, but then it turns out not to be exactly what you thought of it. So that's what I'm kind of getting there. I pulled 2 cards for either side of this to kind of support that main card that flew out. And we have the Ace of Swords and the Empress. You're definitely a creator at heart with the Empress card. She's all about creation. She's all about activities and art. She's all about expression and self-expression. So your strength, like with what you are really good at, is really expressing oneself. You put a lot of your heart and soul into activities that you do. Very artistically inclined. You have a lot of creativity and a lot of like a creative mind, because that's coming forward with an Ace of Swords, which is the sword suit is your mind, your thoughts, your inspirations, and also the way that you communicate. So you really express yourself in a creative way. The Empress card is also popping up as an outdoorsy type of a person. So perhaps you feel most at peace when you are either outdoors, working outdoors, or in an outdoors setting, or working with animals. That could also be another big one for you. Working with animals, working with nature, plants, and that kind of thing. And then the other thing that just popped up in my mind is babies. So perhaps, maybe you want children of your own someday, or you have children or whatnot. But I also feel like babies, or, some sort of a nursing or caretaker, or working in the field of health and like a medical field, that kind of thing might be a pathway for you as well. That could be something of interest too. So if any of these things that I call out align with something that you feel interested with, let that be a sign to you that it is a path that you could possibly embark on. Like I said, I don't want to say, oh, the Empress card came up, so you should definitely do a line of work having to do with the doctors. I don't want to do that, because I don't want you to go on to a path basically based on what I say. I'm leaving it open for you to choose. But if I tapped into something that you feel, oh my gosh, I needed to hear that because that's exactly what I wanted to do, let that be a sign for you. That is your message. So that's how I'm going to read, just so you know. So then we have, I'm going to take this as the body, because this is the way I laid it out. So we're going to take the body of this whole reading, this whole question that you have, and you have the Five of Swords. There's a lot of constant conflict that you are in with yourself, and this is a mental conflict. So a lot of the times this has to do with yourself. You are fighting your own basically you're your own worst enemy in this situation. You were hard on yourself. You have a lot of ideas and beautiful dreams and hopes and wishes for your future. But you break yourself down. You are your own block, is what I want to say. The Five of Swords is also, it's about communication. And I feel like there's a lot of, like a lot of unspoken word in your life, whether it's you expressing or not, or your inability to express yourself to other people. Maybe you have felt like you had to hide a good portion of who you were to other people that you love, you know, family or friends who just wouldn't understand. Maybe you feel like you couldn't express your true passions and your goals for your future because you were afraid that people were going to think you were stupid or crazy for wanting to go on a path that has absolutely nothing to do with what they are interested in. You know, maybe you're more eclectic in your style. You know, so I'm kind of tapping into that as well with the Five of Swords. You got to be willing to take risks and chances for this path. This is solely a mind thing for you. Your mind is your biggest block, as I'm seeing with the swords here. But you have it in you. You have every suit in the tarot in your reading. You have the wands, the cups, the swords. Oh, you're lacking the pentacle, which is the money aspect, the material. And I feel like that will transpire, like that will come out as you move on in your path. So maybe money, having enough money, feeling like you were comfortable and stable, the material aspects of life. So having a house or a home to live in, a nice car, money to pay the bills, and then to have extra cash to enjoy life in general has always been a struggle for you. As I'm seeing, it's kind of absent in this path, in this reading. So that, that's an indication there. It's also the lack of pentacle in your reading is an indication of you feel not grounded, and I'll tap into that here with the base chakra, or the root chakra came up for you, but it came up in reversed. And when I pulled the card, I was actually going to flip it over upright because I tend to read my cards upright. But for this deck, I'm going to obey the fact that the card came up in reverse, and I'm going to use that and read it like it is. So, now I could see how it how it aligns with your reading, because you don't have the pentacle suit in your reading, and so that definitely aligns with why this root chakra came up in reverse. It's showing that you don't have a steady footing in your life right now. You kind of feel like you're floating around. You don't feel like you have a solid ground to walk on, and not having fertile ground to plant your seeds is very frustrating, and I sympathize with that because I feel I am in the same boat at times. So that all that stuff will turn around when you embark on a path that is truly aligned with what you want and what really interests you. And so keep that in mind, like I said, with the Empress card, working with babies, health related or medical related field, or working with animals, maybe medical related a field with animals, or even a simple job like walking dogs for a living, or taking care of animals, or some sort of an animal, working in an animal sanctuary, or working at a shelter, or fostering. I don't know, there's a lot of different outlets that you could take this outdoorsy work. Maybe you are interested in working outdoors or working with plants and flowers and that kind of thing. Like, there's a lot of outlets there that I'm seeing coming up with the queen with the Empress. But like I said, I wanted to throw those ideas out there and allow you to absorb what you feel is right for you. And then below the Five of Swords, I pulled the Knight of Wands for you. And this card doesn't really depict it, but Knight of Wands energy is all about taking risks and chances and moving forward full force. A Knight of Wands is not going to be careful and cautious with his choices. He is going to attack and get what he wants however he needs to do it. So I feel like the type of action that needs to be taken here, as soon as you figure out what outlet you wanted to, try, what path you want to try, take it without looking back. Take it without taking your time. This is a path that you should be aggressive with, and shut out all of, the people who are giving you doubts, or shut out your own doubts, your own mind, because like I said, you are your own worst enemy with this. So I already tapped into the base chakra being in reversed, which also brings me to, we have the foundation and achievements card. That one also came up in reversed. So your path, your struggle in life, and it's very similar to my own because I have the same issue. Our souls struggle with the career path. It is just that one path that no matter what you do, there will always be bumps in the road. It's almost kind of like we always hit blocks. And this isn't something to, don't freak out over it, because like I said, I have the same issue. My love path, my love life is amazing. That path has always been super simple for me. It comes easily. I've never struggled with dating, or I never struggled with finding love, and I'm in a beautiful relationship and a wonderful marriage now. But figuring out what I want to do with work and my career path was the hardest thing for me, and it still is. So I feel like it's the same thing for you. And I feel like because we're similar in that way, your path is probably a bit eclectic as well as mine is. I have to have my feet into reality as well as my dreams and what I love. What I love to do is do readings for people. But this is a slow building little business that I'm doing. It's taking its time to gain clients and people who trust me to read for them. So the money that I make from this, it's enough to make me want to keep doing it because I love it, but it's not enough to feel like I can only do this for work. I've been there where I've only done this for work, but I eventually had to put myself back into a reality where I am working, but I'm not working full time anymore. I'm actually only working part-time at my day job. So it's really nice because I'm able to do the part-time gig and still do this because it equals a full-time money. But I'm hoping eventually that this will grow into full-time. So it takes time. You have to balance it out. And so what I'm saying for you is perhaps a path that you choose. If what you want is maybe like an entrepreneur, like you are your own boss kind of thing, like what I'm doing. Maybe you can have that halfways, and then you have to meet it halfways with a reality like I'm doing and working still a day job. So maybe, working a day job here on the side and then doing your dream on the other side. There is absolutely nothing wrong with that. So just keep that in mind. I don't think a lot of my followers realize that I don't do this full time. I also have another job. So keep that in mind too. It takes time for us to grow and evolve, but it's possible. And then we have the solitude card that came up in reversed. Now, for me, I love to work alone. I love to be on my own doing my thing. This is why I love to do what I do. That's why my day job is I work in a library. So library setting is very quiet and not a heavy flow of people. Every once in a while we do, but for the most part, it's pretty solitary work. And so for you with the reversal, I'm feeling like you need to have that teamwork. You need to have the people around you, or animals around you, or nature around you. Like, you being completely solo isn't a right fit for you. You want to have a social setting, a social life. So a line of work that is going to allow you to surround yourself with animals, plants, or people, or all three, is going to be good for you. Working completely solo, one-on-one, may not be the best thing for you. It might drive you a little bit crazy after a while. So maybe if you can squeeze in some time to work with others that'll be helpful for you. Okay. Whew. Now let's talk about your cosmic reading cards. So the first one I pulled is Move Forward. And I love this. The individual in the card is depicted in the shadows. You could see here. They're in the shadow, which is telling me it's like you're walking out of the darkness into the light. Okay. So this is basically saying you feel right now hopeless. You feel lost. You feel kind of in the dark because you don't know what the hell you're supposed to do with your life. But eventually you will find that light and you're going to feel inspired and you aim for it and keep going. So that's what I'm seeing here with the Move Forward. The card is definitely, in my opinion, intuitively, it's showing that you're going to get out of this darkness point very soon. Whether this reading inspires you or it gives you that affirmation that yes, this is the path you should be on, that idea that maybe you have in the back of your mind, once you feel confident and ready to do it, you will be stepping out of your shadow. So it's coming very soon for you. I'm hearing May, so perhaps May will be maybe that turning point for you, or maybe an opportunity will pop up for you. I'm feeling May is going to be a big shift for you. So keep on the lookout for that. We have Be Still. This is really interesting because like I was talking about the Solitude card, how you work best with other people around you to surround yourself. You also need that quiet time too. And I feel like Be Still is kind of saying it's a reminder to listen to your spirit guides, listen to your angels, or, you know, your higher self. Quiet your mind, you know, and simply ask for some guidance. That's all it is. When you are doubting yourself, when you feel lost and I need help or I need an answer, ask your spirit guides. And what you can do is you be still and you kindly ask them, please give me a sign that I am on the right path. And you can be very like direct. Like for me, I actually did this a couple years ago. I was sitting in the break room at work and I was really toying with the idea of asking my boss if I could drop my hours to part-time from full-time, because I was really feeling, you know, I'm making enough money with Cackling Moon that I could do this and that, you know, to equal a full-time job. And I asked my spirit guides, I said, please show me a sign that I am on the right path, that my idea, my feelings of wanting to go part-time are validated, that it's the right thing. And I was being really specific because, you know, sometimes I could see signs like numbers and this and that, but I wanted to know. I needed to know. And I have, the whale is my favorite animal. So I told my spirit guides, show me a whale. I want to see a whale as a validation that this is the path that I'm supposed to be on, that this is the choice I'm supposed to make. And literally that same day, I put it out of my mind. I went back to work because I was on break. And literally that same day, I was up at the checkout desk checking out books to people. And this lady walks in and she turns her back to me to look at the books that were on the shelf next to us. And on the back of her sweater was a killer whale. And it was the most bizarre moment because it was like, it was the randomest thing. Whales, you know, it's a random request. But the fact that she had it plain sight right on her back, like on the back of her sweater, was a killer whale. And it was that moment. Like I felt like everything around me froze because in that moment, Spirit was saying, this is your validation. And I just knew that was my message. That was my confirmation. So what I'm saying for you is with the Be Still, it's reminding me of that moment, and I thought I would share that with you. So if you feel like you need a validation, if you feel like you need answers or something, ask them because they will give it to you. They will give it to you. And then we have self-worth. I really feel like this is important for you to embrace your self-worth and to know that you are worthy of anything and everything. If you struggle with your identity and you struggle with stepping into your own, like what you feel you were meant to do in this world because of judgment of others or misunderstanding of others. Maybe people just don't get it. Or you have a lot of expectations placed on you from other people or family members, but you want to do a different path. Understand that you have that self-worth. You owe it to yourself to do a path that is meant for you. And I feel like that's why that card is popping up. I also love that, I just noticed this, but that it looks like a diamond, but her third eye is like illuminated. So I feel like it's like saying like, trust that guidance, trust that initial sign from spirit. Like how, if you do ask for that validation and move forward, because I feel like there's already something on your mind. There's a path. And I feel like you were hoping to get that validation from me to tell you that this is what you should do. Maybe I already said it, maybe I didn't, but maybe the message here will kind of inspire you. But either way, I feel like you already know what you want. And you should just go out there and get it. The cards are showing you, just go for it. Don't look back. So that basically concludes your reading. I hope that you found this to be insightful and helpful. And thank you so much for allowing me to read for you. I read for you a few times before, and it's always a pleasure. So thank you so much. If you have questions about your reading, please email me. And, I will give you the best insight that I can. And anyone who's watching, this is the one question tarot reading. If you would like to purchase one for yourself, click the link below. Check out my shop. And I will see you guys later. Bye, guys.